Jürgen Alzen, a name you associate with motorsports. Only a few drivers can look back onto such a victorious motorsports history. At just 17, he competed his first races with a Ford Zaxpeed Escort, then improving his performance with various Ford Capri, the strongest version of which was powered by a Formula 5000 engine. Due to his ambitious talent, he soon realized that his dream was to own his own tuning factory. Moving to the new premises in Betzdorf in 1998 made it possible to start building high-level racing cars. Breaking new records has always been the driving force of the company, because here one designs to win, a quite an unusual approach in this habitat. However, the would-be blue blood successfully switched to Porsche from 1990 until 2011, and with all his previously gained experience, he continued his prosperous motorsports career. Ever since then, Nordschleife insiders have always associated names such as Das Ding, Turbinchen or Allerabatur with Alzen Motorsport. Alzen, a synonym for extraordinary vehicles, as well as for the Mission 400 Plus, which began in 2007 and celebrated its successful conclusion in 2011. The mission was to modify a typical Porsche and have it beat the 400 km/h mark. Yet another legendary record broken by Alzen. Alzen has been at the forefront of endurance racing since 1981, winning the 6-hour race 5 times, followed by 29 VLN and 19 RCN overall victories. All races held at the legendary Nordschleife. Without a doubt, these achievements make the Alzen team stand against the grain. The Jürgen Alzen team has also been in the top league at various international competitions, such as the 24-hour classics at Bathurst, Australia, Daytona, USA, and Dubai, United Emirates. However, the long-distance championship at the local Nürburgring, the Green Hell as Jackie Stewart once christened it, remains Alzen's favorite amongst all the other challenging racetracks. After all these victorious years, Alzen got tired of rear-engine race cars and returned to Ford, his original brand. At that point, he had already been interested in the legendary mid-engine Ford GT with its powerful V8 engine. The original Ford GT40 had celebrated several victories at Le Mans in the 60s. In the years between 2012 and 2017, Alzen built a total of 4 very rare Ford GT GT3 vehicles for his customers and himself, which he then put to use quite successfully. But from 2010 onwards, the races in the Green Hell were undergoing a change, which was initiated by the organizers' safety requirements and limited the performance of the cars significantly. Also, new rules of conduct were added to achieve more safety, but often resulted in the opposite. The smallest violation of these rules led to penalties, which then foiled victories. The risk became too high for the private teams and their sponsors to maintain the constantly rising costs of this expensive racing series. In 2016, the team and its team partners decided to switch to a more open racing series, such as the STT, the Special Touring Car Trophy, that provided a platform with fewer restrictions and many powerful vehicles. The mechanics removed the added weight and the restrictor that limited the engine's power, which was previously required for the Nordschleife. Then retrofitted a larger rear wing and instantly made 4th place in the overall rankings that year. According to Alzen, the end goal is still far from reach, because in the setting of this hardly limited series, his vehicle was not powerful enough and could no longer be compensated with talent and experience alone. A revised, much faster car was needed, and so a new Alzen project was born. In 2016 we were still able to achieve some good results, but a car with 625 horsepower just wasn't competitive enough. We finally wanted to put into practice our ideas and thoughts of a new car we've been imagining for years. The idea was to build something extremely special again, a super fast racing car. It turned out to become the Super Ford GT Evo. We used the GT3 vehicle that can reach up to 600 horsepower, but whether we used a Ford or an Audi, they all were too ordinary. We wanted to build something extraordinary, something that stood out of the crowd, as we did in the past. Against all odds, we went through with it anyway. Our troubles were extreme, but so was our success. It took a couple of years, since the timing just wasn't right then, but now it was. In order to use such a vehicle, one needed the appropriate series. A series that allowed exceptional vehicles, be it in weight, width, or engine power. In November 2018, the two of us began constructing tirelessly. And we got it done in about 3/4 of a year. In January, we were able to sell our VLN GT3 to a collector, making it impossible to start the 2019 season from the beginning. But it fit the bill, in terms of one vehicle going and a new one just on its way. It all started when I got myself a chassis from the USA. This chassis was meant to be the foundation of our new racing car. In my head, I already knew exactly what the car would look like. First construction plans had already been made on the drawing board, but many things could only be developed while building. Visually and aerodynamically, we set high standards for our project. Our goal was to find a synthesis between aerodynamics and functionality, thus making it the ultimate driving machine. I gave the basic engine to a specialist, who then equipped the engine with the appropriate loadable parts, such as forged pistons, special valves, connecting rods, and so on. The gearbox, the differential, and the chassis was our area of expertise. So obviously we rebuilt these parts on our own. In order to reduce weight, we had a vehicle technology specialist make all casings out of carbon. The model and mold making for this was pretty complicated, so that several companies had to work simultaneously to produce all aluminum parts in due time. All in all, one could say that the vehicle is an evolution of the Ford GT. A Ford GT3 is normally powered by a 5-liter V8 naturally aspirated engine. However, the possibilities to increase the performance of a naturally aspirated engine are very limited. Therefore, the team had to be very creative to come up with a new engine concept. In the tuning scene, there is one truth that cannot be denied. There is no substitute for cubic capacity unless there is even more cubic capacity. But since these preconditions were not given, the Alzen team decided to use 2 turbochargers. The reconstruction measures were enormous. Biggest problem being the thermal load, not only for the engine, but for the entire periphery as well. The intake air for this powerful engine had to come from an air shaft, which was integrated into the roof. The result, however, is state-of-the-art as we see it. Many of the body parts, such as fenders, bonnet tops, and engine hoods, were specially designed. Making it an expensive venture, the costs being high in the six figures. Without the loyal support of the team partners H&R, and as in the years before delivering chassis for example, none of this would have been possible. Team Alzen would like to take this opportunity to thank its partner, H&R. Our fan base has always been very big. People love the Black GT, and I think the fans will be thrilled.
Yeah.